started out at Stone County Ironworks when I was 18 years old, and in all honesty, I just wanted to make enough money to move away from home. But as I got into the blacksmithing and realized that how much I really enjoyed it, and I fell in love with it, and I've been doing it for the past 26 years, and I traveled all around the state trying to learn as much as I could from any of the old blacksmiths. And then 14 years ago, I started working here in Mountain View at the Ozark Folk Center and demoing to the public like what I've been doing out here today. And I just really passionate about it. I love the history with it, and I love to be able to teach and help people understand more about it. Because nowadays, most people think of a blacksmith, all they think of is somebody shoeing a horse. And they don't realize that your blacksmith did everything from a sewing needle to your cooking and eating utensils to build your wagons, tools, anything made out of metal. You had to go see the blacksmith to have it done. We're good and hot. We're going to have it now. So the best way to explain what it's like working with the metal when it's hot, it's just as soft as clay or Play-Doh would be. And you can shape it any direction, any way, do it anything you want it to do. It'll get a little bit hotter. Now, when I started at the Folk Center, they'd ask me the first years, like, you ever done barbecue sets? I was like, yeah. Well, they were like, we need you to build a barbecue set for Governor Huckabee. And I was like, okay. So I made it, I tore it apart, I made it, I tore it apart. And I finally told myself, I was like, look, you're probably never going to use it. It's just going to sit in the closet. Little to my surprise, the man loves the grill. And, you know, he was very happy with it, and this and that. Another rose in bloom down in Texas. Watch you beat the bells of Tennessee. Texas, you sure have done some good. That day you sweet rose.
he gets through with his guitar, he'd always tune it in open chord and play Hawaii style. Then when he left, he'd leave the guitar tuned like it was. And then when I come home, I picked the guitar up and went, and I heard a chord. So I started singing "You Are My Sunshine." Never will forget the song I sang. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. Okay, I started from there. Cause see, I wanted to play the guitar, always wanted to play the guitar, but I never would learn this stuff here. So I hit that, and when I did, then I got with some more people that knew something about this, and they told me, to use a knife or something. And that's what I was using. But one guy told me that I should use my thumb. So I said, I can't use my thumb because I ground it out. He said, well, it might work. So I tried that, and it did work.
When God made the rose, He made one, now she walks this earth so everyone can see. And when she leaves, I don't ask where she's going. I put all the trust I have in
Meet a lot of people from different places, and that's what I like, is to meet people, not what I am, but I like to find out what other people like to do and in songs, and you swap things when you come to a place. You swap things for like songs and stuff. They listen to you and you listen to them, and I've heard some fantastic stuff here. Mountain View people would come in here and from all walks of life, I guess.
Now, Texas, you can have all of your old wealth, and your ranches where your longhorn can be. I just want a city in your Rio Grande Valley, and most of all, my sweet, sweet Rosalie, Rosalie, there ain't no doubt it's sweet to me, it's sweet, sweet
You may say something, and maybe you may say a word or two that I can take and maybe make a song. Mm-hmm. I was talking to when I wrote the Poor Boy Dollar Bill. There was two guys talking. I don't even know what they're talking about, but they was talking about something, and I heard one of them said, "You're right. There is a difference in a poor boy dollar bill." And I thought to myself, yeah, and I've got a song.
When God made Rose, He made one perfect angel. Now she walks this earth so everyone can see. And when she leaves, I don't ask where she's going. I put all the trust I have in Rosalie. Rosalie, Rosalie, there ain't no gal as sweet to me as sweet, sweet Rosalie.
Now we've done a nice little point on it, keeping it the same thickness. All right, so the next thing I want to do is what we call fullering. Fullering is shrinking the metal at one specific point. So what I'll do is I'm going to come back here and just put 2 little notches. The style of arrowhead we're doing is like one that's been napped out. All right, so you know how a lot of the Native Americans had those little notches, so when they use the sinew to tie it off on the shaft, it'll just smash those little notches in for us. Alright, so we're going to, once again, clean our scale off. I want to bring it right to the back side of that taper, bringing it up on edge. So each time I hit it, I'm hitting it with the same amount of force and the same amount of time each side. So I can keep everything centered up. Bring it over here where y'all can see. You can see that the notch is a little bit better. Okay, bring it in just a little bit narrower. Yep. I figure maybe a couple more taps on it. Alright, so this time when I heat it up, I'm going to use the rounded side of my hammer. And what I'll do is I'm going to cut just the outside edge and I'll give it a taper down and flare the sides out. Then the next step, after we get done doing this, the next step is I want to flare the triangle shape out on the top. I want to flare it out, give it a little bit more design to it. During the festivals from early spring, when we have our Ozark Folk Fest, is the beginning of our tourist season, and we really don't pick up a lot of people until after schools are out, when families are out on vacation. Now out here, we'll get, you know, from grandma and grandpa bringing their grandkids to see different things that are represented here in Mountain View, from the music to the craft and all kinds of stuff like that. And it'll slow down for us usually in beginning to the middle of October. So now you notice at the widest point, we're the same width as the material back here. So this time when I do it, it'll make it just a little bit wider. Now you can see how we give it a little bit more width to it. Look okay? Let me know when you got it, sir.
Yeah, that's good.
You got it? Okay. So now I want to give it a texture, like if how the Native Americans would have took the piece of flint and napped it. Okay, I want to give this piece of metal that same texture as a regular flint arrowhead would have. And I want to achieve that by using a ball peen hammer. Now I'm going to use my ball peen, just tapping it. Then a branching hit, and giving it a texture. So what I'll do now is we're going to heat it up, use my hammer, the ball peen, and just texture it down a little bit. Down. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to bring this temperature up on this arrowhead to about 400 degrees. What we call metal transfer. Now, what we started out with was a piece of mild steel. All right, brass brush, right? Everybody can see that okay? All right, so what I want to do is still, like I said, about 300 to 400 degrees. Now, as I'm cleaning it, you might start noticing something changing. See the color changing in it? What I'm doing is, the metal is like our skin. When it's still hot, the pores of the steel are wide open. And brass melts at such a low temperature, so I'm embedding particles of the brass into the pores of the steel. And when I cool it off in the water, like I will here in a minute, it will seal those pores, tighten them up, and trap that brass there. So it will not wipe off. The only way to get the brass to come back out is by heating it up or using an abrasive on it. Get it to the color we like. Now I'm going to trade out my steel brush just so I can bump the back of it, clean off some of the carbon or the oxidation, so you'll be able to see the difference in the sides when I cool it off. All right. Now, just to show you the difference, that's the traditional metal versus cleaning it with bronze. I get a lot of foot traffic that comes through where people can just right off the sidewalk walk up and ask questions. A lot of times they'll hear the anvil ringing or the smoke coming from the forge, and that'll bring them in, and then they just start asking questions, and I try to answer them the best I can for them. And it might be directions on, different places we have here in town to, actual blacksmithing questions. Here today, I've been working on a barbecue set. This is a barbecue pork, a steak turner. This will be the spoon when I'm done with it. And then also I've got the spatula. This is the barbecue spatula itself. This will be a set that going to a gentleman in Texas. And then other things that we do might consist of small basic hooks that you could hang anything from a book bag to hummingbird feeders or things like that, to we have paper towel holders that we forge out, all one piece of metal, nothing's added to it. And then into the more of the art style, we have this cross here I built. The cross itself was made from a railroad spike. I'm trying to get this. So this part of the cross, you would start out with a spike like this, and just splitting it and then unfolding it like a piece of paper to be able to get the cross part itself. And then I use what we call repoussé by using the sheet copper and then hammering it from the two different directions to give it a three-dimensional effect to it. And then the one that I do that I get the most questions is this piece right here. It's called the sticking Tommy. It's actually a miner's lamp that you would place your candle in this ring here. The hook here would hang on the side of their helmet or hat as they were going down into the mine, and then where you were going to work that day, you could drive it into the timber or say a crack in a rock and work from the candlelight. And then we even do things as simple as hinges, just a basic little strap hinge. And I've done a lot of these for large household doors and things like that.
And that's an example there on the cabinet door.
Yes, this is actually a photo album, but it would be used the same way on the cabinet door.
So that's hinges and a handle there.
Yep, you got your dogwood, just a simple basic dogwood.
Opened it up for me.
and you could see how you would put, you could go ahead and fill these with all the photos. And the beautiful way that I designed this is with these pieces right here, you can untie it on the back and make it however thick you want to. As the large dragon over here, if you really look at him, he's got a smile. And not something I did intentionally, but one of the guys that I was working with when I was sandblasting him, he goes, man, it looks like your dragon's smiling like it's been laying out in a field of poppies all day long. Henceforth, the happy dragon.